Hi there, and welcome to what is thankfully the final league post-match reaction, where Rangers have drawn 3-3 in an end-to-end game, putting a positive spin on it at Tynecastle. I'm joined by Craig. Craig, this is the first time I think you and I have actually been in a pod for a long, long time. Let's just get straight into it. The lineup was Butland, Tav, King, Davies, Fraser, Diomande, Raskin, McCausland, Cantwell, Wright, and Dessers. What was your thoughts on that initial lineup?
Oh yeah, just to start you off, I think we were on a pod last Sunday, were we not? So I think it's
let loose together days. Is what I mean.
It's only been 6 days, but it does feel like a lifetime in Rangers terms, to be fair. So, but yeah, the lineup I think was I wasn't really that bothered about much of today. I wasn't really that bothered about much of the game today. I just wanted some players to sort of find some form ahead of next week, maybe give us a wee bit of hope. It's good to see Robbie Fraser getting a start at left back. I think his performance during the week against Dundee at Ibrox was good, so that was positive. I think central defence, they're only two fit centre halves, and then midfield. I guess Raskin coming in again, and hopefully, I guess the hope was that he would come in and show something that puts him in the frame for starting at Hampden next week. I think he probably did that. To be fair, we'll come on to that a wee bit later in the podcast and stuff, but I think he probably did that. And then up front, just the amount of the problem is the biggest problem is we are creating lots of chances. Dessers is missing 5-6 a game that should be 2 or 3 should be goals, and the rest should be on target troubling the goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. And then we're conceding stupid goals, and that's the microcosm of our season. I don't know. Might as well move on, I guess, to where when the game started. But I thought we did all right at the start. I thought we were playing okay. Mm-hmm. We were the stronger team. I think I looked at one stage, maybe after 20-25 minutes, we'd had 6 shots on goal. Hearts had 1. We'd had 4 shots on target. Like we were causing problems. We were controlling the game, and we were pushing for that opening goal. And I thought we deserved to be in the lead. By that point, Cyril Dessers had other thoughts about that, but I thought we deserved to be in the lead by that point. How did you feel we started the game?
Yeah, I get like you, very similar. I actually thought there was some half decent passages of play in there. I thought, you can see it's obviously guys that have a team that's not played together. There's players in that are not used to playing with each other, and it was okay. But as you said, that's the difference. I actually thought you were about to go and say, oh, if we've got Shankland up front, if we go out and spend the money on him in the the January transfer window there, then it's a different season, and it's hard to argue against that. Yeah,
I think it is. I mean, but you look at the recent league form, and it's been nowhere near good enough. I think 1 clean sheet in the last 11 league games, or something along those kind of lines, in terms of stats. And you saw the season that we won under Gerrard. We won the league. We conceded how many goals that season? We were fair enough. We were banging them in at the other end, but we conceded how many goals that season, and you need to build from the back if you're going to have a league winning team. And we've just not seen that consistency that we had initially under Fleet come on. We were really consistent under him at the start. We weren't conceding many goals. And that's why we were winning games. Now, if you look at today, we scored 3 goals and we couldn't even win.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the Hearts goal comes in the first half. For me, there's not an awful lot I think that many of our players can do about it. I think the pass through to, I think it was initially meant for Vargas, but it found Shankland. It was a fantastic pass and a really, really fantastic finish from Lawrence Shankland. I just feel sorry for Jack Butland, the fact that that's, as you said, that's another game where he's conceded a goal that's not really had much to do with him. But just taking it back a few minutes before that, should Cyril Dessers have had a penalty?
100%. I actually watched the game from my holiday home and watched it on Hearts TV today. And to be fair to the Hearts TV commentators, they are very fair compared to many other club commentators. They're very balanced in their views, and they were saying they felt it was a penalty, and they felt Hearts were lucky to get away with it. I don't know how the referee did it. The referee is tricky. The amount of times we see Cyril Dessers go down claiming that his shirt's been pulled, it's like 4 or 5 times a game. So you can understand why some referees maybe become a bit tired of it or a bit sceptical of it. And if it's a penalty, they should still give it as a penalty. But you can understand why they maybe not everyone's going to be one, so that they're maybe looking at every time he's claiming for it, thinking, well, it's probably not enough for him to go down or whatever. And then they've got this, or they should have the security that VAR is there to then pick up, and VAR should have picked it up today. They had quite a lengthy look at it as well, so I don't know how it wasn't. Hearts TV commentators felt it was a penalty. I felt it was a penalty. I think most Rangers fans felt it was a penalty as well, but it's the kind of marginal calls I don't think we've been getting this season.
Yeah, I never quite get this narrative, because I know that's what I seen in the socials was it wasn't given because he wasn't getting to the ball. But since when does that matter? Surely if you foul somebody in the box, it's still a penalty if whether or not.
And also, how do you know if he's getting to the ball or not? He wasn't that far away from it.
Exactly. The next action point we'll come on to talk to the start of the second half. 6 minutes after that, around 51 minutes. It's the
Kyle, just on the goal we conceded, the first goal we conceded.
Not finished yet.
That's all on Todd Cantwell for me. I think it's our team are pushing up into attacking phase. They're all pushing up into the final third, and Todd Cantwell has quite a simple pass to play, but he doesn't get enough on the ball. It looks quite lazy when you watch the replay, in terms of maybe it's that one of those ones that's just so bread and butter that his mind's thinking 2 or 3 phases ahead and he's just not executed it right. But there was nothing that the centre halves could have done on that one. I actually thought Ben Davies and Leon King had an okay game. I don't think they did anything majorly wrong. I think they were okay. They both of them have been thrown in the deep end, having not played much football this season. But I think they've done okay the last couple of games. But there was nothing they could have done about that one, particularly when the ball was aimed for Vargas, who they had successfully played offside, and Shanklin's just powering his way up the left-hand side, and there's not much they can do about that. It's because of that the transition in play so near the halfway line, while all of our team, or most of our team, are pushing forward for an attack. It's just the story of our season, though. We're doing well. We create some good chances. We should be ahead, whether it be through the penalty that Cyril Dessers should have had, or whether it should be through the pretty much open goal that Cyril Dessers should score into as well. I mean, that's not even talking about the other decent and half decent chances he had, but that one. There were some people were questioning. I'll call it Kieran since he was so vocal on it. But Kieran was chatting away on WhatsApp, and he was saying that he felt that it was McCausland's pass was too far behind Cyril Dessers to make it an easy finish. But surely any striker should be able to score from that far out if they can connect their foot to the ball. So I'm not entirely buying that. I think we should have been at least 1-0 up at that point. But it just shows you we don't take our chances. The opposition go up the other side, up the other end, first real shot on target, and it's a goal, and we're 1-0 down, and we're under the cosh.
Listen, you could clip that bit and just put it in about 20 games this season. Yeah. I mean, I'm the one I'm thinking about is the Commander game at home, and where we can first for 8 up into our half, and they end up scoring from it, and it's happened so many times, and thankfully, hopefully that's the last of it we see. Well, it will be the last of it we see in the league this year. Hopefully it's changed next season. But we'll come on to talk about the Ross McCausland goal. I thought it was a really good goal. He done really well to win it. I know there was maybe a suggestion of a high foot, but the Hearts player, his head's far too far away for that to be even considered. And it is a wonderful strike, something that we've not been doing enough. The last goal, I think I can remember us scoring from outside the box, and I'll no doubt you'll pick me up on this again, is Diomande against Hearts, from a sort of similar position. What was your thoughts on that goal and just Ross McCausland as a whole today?
I'll pick you up on that one, because how have you forgotten about Tom Lawrence's goal the other week?
Tom Lawrence, correct, in a game that I've already mentioned on this podcast.
I don't know how you've forgotten that one, but that was a belter, and one that deserves to be remembered. But Ross McCausland's goal today, like you say, does some really good work. The Hearts player tried to feign injury, I think, to get the high boot call, but he was when you see the replays, miles away from him, so it's not even a consideration. He does well to turn onto his left foot, and actually to have the confidence to strike it on his weaker foot as well is is good to see. Don't think we've had enough from him in terms of goal contributions, whether it be assists or goals in the amount of minutes that he's played. But that was a really good one. It was a weird one to watch as well because it just kind of floated towards the goal. It wasn't like a thunder strike that's just beat the goalkeeper all ends up. It kind of floated towards the goal, and it was just perfectly placed off the post and in, and it's exactly what you wanted really early in the second half. And you think, right, let's go on. We've been the better team anyway in the game, so let's go on and put the foot down and try and get that second goal at least, if not a second and a third.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It just shows you don't always have to absolutely blast it. Sometimes it's just about precision and just taking a second to think. I'm better at, just placing this into the corner, and it was a really good goal. Shortly after that, 60-minute mark, there was subs. I think Clement alluded to some of these subs before the game. Diomande, Wright, who I'm not sure if Wright's come off for maybe protecting him for the weekend, or next weekend I should say, which I don't know how I feel about that. Diomande certainly falls into that category, and Robbie Fraser, they all came off. Dowell, Silva and Ridvan came on. You sort of touched on him earlier on. I've seen lots of positive comments about him, but I thought Robbie Fraser did not look out of place at all in that Rangers starting 11.
Yeah, I don't think he did look out of place in that game. I think Hearts were maybe a bit more open and a bit more free-flowing, which meant that they were trying to push up, but he looked okay. But I think there was a few times, was it Oda just turned him inside out a couple of times, and he looked, he maybe had like a 5-minute spell that he appeared to be struggling or whatever. But I thought he did well. He equipped himself well. He's not signed a new contract yet. His contract's up at the end of the season, so it'll be interesting. They obviously believe in him enough that they're giving him game time against both Dundee and from the start today. So you'd imagine there's a contract offer on the table. But it'll be interesting, that dynamic, because we know that Borna Barisic is away. Ridvan Yilmaz is one that I think we've all grown to like in terms of his qualities that he has to offer. He's just not been fit enough, and that's a question mark over him. There was the rumours of Hefty potentially coming in January, and then the delay due to his current club want to keep him on loan. So I don't know if that will come to fruition. So it'll be really interesting to see when it comes to Robbie Fraser, as he seems to be the next youngster kind of coming through. So it'll be interesting to see how much game time he's able to get, or if he's considered to be the backup left back for next season. I'd be surprised if he was. He might be third choice, but you never know.
Yeah, I'll be interested. I mean, it's something the support's been crying out for a while. I think I talked about in the last podcast I was on Wednesday was, is that the way forward? Should we be, having more a smaller pool of better quality players and supplementing that with youth team players? And I certainly think that Robbie Fraser fits into that mould, because in the 2 games that I've seen him, I've not seen anything, and in a couple of the youth team games that I've seen him play as well, he's always been a standout player. So yeah, hopefully there is something there for his long-term future at Rangers, because we seem to have a habit of producing half-decent fullbacks through our youth academy. Next action point, 68 minutes, is the Cantwell goal. Another lovely finish. I've been messaged to say that I must mention that Dessers got an assist in this one. So I'll say that as well. But yeah, Craig, your overall thoughts on Todd Cantwell, who had a pretty good game against Dundee earlier on in the week, and what was your thoughts on the goal and his performance in general today?
Yeah, I said during the week after the Dundee game that he looked as though he was a player with a point to prove, and I felt that continued into today. I think he's almost making sure that there's no way Philippe Clement can not choose him in front of the starting lineup next week at Hampden. And I think his performance was really good again today. I think obviously he was mentioned earlier, he was at fault for the goal, but in terms of on the ball, in terms of his attacking play, and then his control and finish for this goal was really good. It was almost hit exactly the same spot on that left hand post, and finished the exact same point in the back of the net as McCausland's goal. So it was almost like a carbon copy in terms of how it went in. But it was great to see, and it was a really tidy finish again. And it was, I think in this game we scored really good quality goals. The disappointment is the level of goal that we conceded.
Yeah, that's it. Next point, there's some more subs here. Again, I'm assuming these were pre-planned. Ben Davies come off for Sterling. Good to see Dujon Sterling back because I think he's our best player in about six positions this season. And Desser's obviously coming off for a wee bit of protection. Interesting enough, Abdullah Sima was put through the middle, which I'm suspecting we maybe see in the last 20 minutes of the game next weekend. But yeah, your thoughts on Sima through the middle, and you alluded to it a wee bit earlier on, but this might be a bit of an unpopular opinion amongst our support at the minute. But see, since Ben Davies has come in, I don't think he's done that much wrong. I think he's been not too bad.
I think Ben Davies is a really solid central defender. He's one that I have confidence in. I would actually say I have more confidence in Ben Davies than I do in John Souttar at this moment in time. And it's John Souttar has been consistently making the same mistake time and time again. You could potentially say he's better with the ball at his feet in terms of John Souttar over Ben Davies, but Ben Davies is solid with the ball at his feet. He's not scared to take the ball out. He's left-sided, which helps as well. It seems to create a better balance in our defence, and he's a player that I would keep in. And being honest, I would have given him more game time this season than he's had, especially given the struggles we've had in defence. I would also have no issue with him playing at centre half against Celtic at Hampden next week.
Yeah, well, I think most of the support are going to have no issue with it because we've kind of else in there to play. The lineup next week will be absolutely fascinating. And the sort of last positive talking point of the game, I suppose, Craig, in 79 minutes, this was, as you said, another good goal. Some really, really good play on that right hand side between Tav, McCausland, and I think it was Kieran Dowell was the other player that was involved in a wee sort of triangle to work the ball up.
Yeah.
This, okay, it's a percentage ball from McCausland into the box. He's not looking for anybody in particular, but it was a good ball, and Fabio Silva does really well just to nip into, I can't remember the guy's name he got in, but I know he's on loan from Wolves as well. So
Lembasika, I think, or Lembakisa.
Lembasika, yeah. And just got off him, and yeah, it was a good finish. But what did you make of this passage of play for Rangers?
Yeah, I thought it worked nicely. Fabio Silva, it's kind of something that we've not seen him do very much of in terms of show that desire and show that want to just get that ball.
It's too late now.
It's not too late now, but show that desire to win that ball at any cost, and he does so, and it's a really nice finish as well on the turn. The commentator said it was his sixth goal of the season. That's nowhere near enough for what we needed to get out of him, especially in the amount of minutes he's had in the sort of the attacking position he sits in for us as well. That's nowhere near enough of a return. But I thought he did really well for the goal. And when I went in, you're thinking 3-1 ahead, 15 minutes left. You're thinking, yeah, this game's done and dusted. Hearts fans started leaving at the end at that point because they thought the game was done and dusted. But yeah, they've obviously not been watching enough of Rangers this season.
Yeah, and yeah, just to finish up in terms of talking about what happened in the game, that last sort of 10 minutes or 10, 15 minutes, including the 5 minutes extra time, was just defensively awful. For me, both the goals sort of are from that left-hand side. Lembasika not being marked, I felt Yilmaz was off him, and then he didn't do enough. It was a fantastic strike by the boy to make it 3-3, but yeah, do you want to just talk about
I guess
defensive woes at the minute?
the second goal is symptomatic of what's been going wrong, and it's there's a lot of issue at the moment with James Tavernier both on and off the ball. I think maybe the last 5 or 10 games he's been completely off it. It's been so far off it that it's growing into a real concern. I know a lot of people will say it's been a concern for much longer than that, but I've generally been a James Tavernier supporter, and while I understand his defensive liabilities, what he offers us going forward, I think is more than worth the risk. And in the vast majority of games we play, I think but his weaknesses seem to be more and more magnified in recent weeks, and I don't know why that is, or if it's just been a drop in form or whatever. But he was ripped apart by Vargas down that side for the cross for the second goal. He just stood off Vargas, let Vargas run at him, and then just take it by him and clip the ball in. I think Redvan is pushing over because he's covering that left centre half position. So it means that Wembekisa is free out wide. It's a good finish from Wembekisa, but it's really disappointing from our. I think every part of it is really disappointing from our perspective, and to concede that so shortly after going 3-1 up, you're on easy street, and then you're saying to yourself, "Oh no, right, we're back in a game here." I think if there's a longer period or a bigger time frame between us scoring the third and Hearts scoring the second, you probably get a more comfortable end to the game, but it wasn't the case at all. And then the third goal, we just kind of sat back and let Hearts have a go. We just kind of sat back and said, right, there's a minute left in this game, show us what you've got. And the ball didn't touch the ground from leaving the goalkeeper's foot till it hit the back of the net. The keeper launches it. I think it's Frankie Kent wins the header. I don't know who the Rangers player is that he wins it against, but he wins the header, and then the boy, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head, but some finish again. He just catches it sweet as a nut. Jack Butland can't do a single thing about it, but it sums up our season. We started the game well, conceded a sloppy goal, got ourselves back into the game, got ourselves into a comfortable lead by continuing to play good football, and then conceded 2 sloppy goals in the last 10 minutes, and you drop another 2 points. Fair enough, points don't matter at this stage anymore, and we're all more than done with this squad. Obviously, the Scottish Cup final is exactly 7 days away from when we record this just now, so it's a concern ahead of that, and I don't go into the maybe ruining the TII build up to the Scottish Cup final, but don't
accept I've got to do Wednesday's podcast before it, man.
I'm not going in with my hopes held high. So I think that it just sums up the squad. I think what Philippe Clement said in his pre-match press conference to this one, in terms of the size of the rebuild and the turnover of players that there's going to be this summer, I actually found really encouraging. The fact he spoke about it being the end of a cycle for this club, and it was time we needed to refresh and start a new one. I've also heard from various people that actually Philippe Clement is going to be much harsher and much more brutal than probably the fans realise in this transfer window in terms of who he cuts from the squad. So that'll be really interesting to see if that does come to fruition, because it's what we all need. We've all gone back to the well time and time again with this squad and with various members of this squad, giving them another chance. You can prove us wrong. Okay, you've shown us something. Prove us continually, and it always just reverts back to type. And we just need to get to the summer, have that revamp, and take it from there. But I'm fully expecting a big one from Rangers. The next week, I think, for the Scottish Cup final, it's really going to set the tone, I guess, for this summer and how Rangers fans will feel. If Rangers win it, you've got a cup double. You've narrowly missed out in the league by shooting yourself in the foot, but you've got a cup double there, and you've got something to build on, because it would be Philippe Clement's first win over Celtic as well, which he needs to get soon, I think, to show that he can do that. If you lose that, then you're going in with a League Cup win, and that's it. And it's going to be doom and gloom, and the fans will be down. So while I don't go in with much hope for next week's Scottish Cup final, the aftermath of it and the knock-on effect it could potentially have, whether we win or whether we lose, is pretty big I think for Philippe Clement in particular, and the board.
Yeah, you're no kidding. But there's one last point. I want to end it sort of positively, because if you find something negative to say about this player, I'll be surprised, because I think he has been a bit of a difference maker in the past 2 games. And we've actually not mentioned him, and that's Nico Raskin. I thought he changes the way that we play. He gives us what John Lundstrom has not been giving us for the past few weeks, and that is going forward, being able to attack on the front foot quickly. Do you think that could be a difference in that midfield, especially next week? Because let's face it, every time we've played the other half of the city, that is where we've lost the game, is in the middle of the park.
Yeah, the midfield is absolutely vital when it comes to next week. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure Nico Raskin will be able to make the difference all by himself. I think he can be a part of that difference. We need to change how we set up. We're setting up with a number 10 against Celtic. It's just not worked at all in the recent time, and so we need to make sure we we change that and we change our approach in midfield. But I think Nico Raskin can help us in a number of ways. He won't drop as deep as John Lundstrom does. I think he's more willing to play a forward pass. He's also more physical. He's probably meets John Lundstrom in the physicality stakes, but he's smart with it. And I think that's another area where we need to get better in Old Firm games, as we saw the downfall of making stupid decisions in that atmosphere just last week, and it killed the game and it killed the league for us at that very moment. So I think Nico Raskin will start next week. I think he should start. I think he seemed to struggle prior to this last couple of games where he's come in. He was struggling for some form. He was just wasn't match fit, didn't have enough minutes in the legs or whatever, but he seems to be slowly starting to get towards the Nico Raskin that we all enjoyed towards the end of last season. So hopefully that's the case, and hopefully we see more of that.
Yeah, hopefully do see more of that next week as well. I just didn't want to end the podcast on a negative note there, Craig, so that's why I snuck that one in there at the end. But listen, thanks as always to everybody that's tuning in, watching, listening. We appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow night again, maybe looking a bit at this game again, and I'm looking ahead towards the Scottish Cup final. I'll be back on Wednesday night as well. But just remember, there's 5 things you can do just to help us out. If you can, just remember, give us a like, share, subscribe, comment, and enable those notifications. Until then, we'll see you all again. Bye.